Good evening. Thank you for being here. My name is Brian Martin. I am the principal at Ross High School. This is my 12th year in the district. So other principals and I are just going to talk a little bit about, the non-athletic supplementals and what those impacts could look like. Just to back up a little bit, speaking specifically about the high school. Things that we have cut already at the high school, we've cut two math teachers. Since last year, we cut an English teacher. As Mr. Castater pointed out, we are going to cut another English teacher and a science teacher. So that's in addition to a school counselor that we have cut at the high school. That's in addition to our school social worker. We had a partnership with the Butler County Educational Service Center who provided a social worker who assisted our kids and families. So those are cuts that have already been made at Ross High School, and those are independent of anything that may happen going forward. So as you might imagine, because of cuts that have already been made, we've had to reduce course offerings, we've had to change how we deliver instruction. This has had a particular impact in our math and English departments. In the past, we had been able to provide additional support to our students, particularly in our lower level students and general track students. We had been able to double block courses for them and provide additional support. All of those opportunities are gone with cuts that we have already made, and we are starting to see those impacts in our students already. And if you spoke to any of our English teachers or math teachers, they could certainly fill you in on how that's impacting our students. So those are things that have already happened at the high school. As I mentioned, we've cut a counselor, we've cut a school social worker. This is in the midst of what many mental health professionals are calling the largest mental health crisis in our nation's history among teenagers. We're cutting counselors. We're cutting people who support our students' mental health. So once again, not to backtrack, but just wanted to provide some context on things that we have already lost or have already gone by the wayside as we go into these things that we're going to talk about. So the non-athletic supplementals, as Mr. Castater mentioned, you're talking about yearbook, you're talking about journalism, you're talking about all of our class advisors, some of who are sitting in the room and who do these extra things to make sure that we have the great community activities and events that we all enjoy, right? Everyone in Ross, it's like a Norman Rockwell painting in the fall, right? We have our homecoming parade and people are lining the streets, watching our colorful floats go up and down Hamilton Cleves Road. Believe it or not, there's a lot of work that goes into getting those floats constructed. Positions like class advisors who are responsible for the weeks and weeks of supervision of students outside of school hours. They're in a barn somewhere throughout the district until the wee hours of the morning, oftentimes supervising students and helping them build those floats. That would be gone. That would be gone. Class advisors would be one of the cuts. Student government is responsible for putting on our homecoming dance. Those class advisors are responsible for prom. So a lot of the great traditions that we have here, a lot of the reasons that kids get excited about high school. I know it's hard to believe, but not everybody's excited to come, learn about chemistry and algebra 2 and all those things every day. Lots of times kids are drawn to those extra activities, and that's what makes a school. That's what leads to the culture of our school and our community. So obviously those would be tough losses for our kids. So once again, fine art supplementals, you know, I'll speak about my girls in particular. My kids inherited my genetics, which means that they're not very good athletes, all right? So their strengths are in the areas of fine arts. And as a parent, as a principal, when you talk about losing those opportunities for our kids, it's really devastating. It's really devastating, and it's going to impact the climate and culture of our buildings. So as Mr. Castater indicated in one of his slides, if the levy does not pass, I believe it's likely that we would not replace, or at least it would be recommended, we would not replace a middle school music position. That probably means lack or elimination of music opportunities at middle grade levels. That means no middle school show choir. You know, and like I said, those would be some devastating impacts for our kids.